My Digital Cultural Story, One Call, Two Degrees by Kaylee Byerly. As a child growing up in Lolo, Montana, I always had a reputation of being a goody two-shoes. I got straight A's, never got in trouble, and was always honest with my parents. We have the typical all-American family. This reputation still holds true now, but when I was 15, I fell in love. I fell in love with a boy named Jake, who was different than me in almost every way. He was the bad boy, a year younger than me. My parents did not approve, but for the first time in my life, I didn't care. I was blinded by emotion and my own wants. Jake impacted my life more than I ever thought possible. He was my first everything. My first kiss, my first love, my first time, the reason I snuck out of the house, and the first person I was convinced I would spend the rest of my life with. Our relationship lasted on and off for about 7 years. There were times of love, times of hate, times of indifference. When I think back to the relationship, I always go back to one specific day, February 13th, 2005. It feels like a lifetime ago, yet feels like yesterday. I, as any young girl in a relationship, was excited for my first Valentine's Day with a boyfriend. I had gotten him cologne and I couldn't wait to give it to him. We had plans to be together that whole day, and when I got a phone call from him the day before, my heart began beating fast, as it always did when I saw his number on the caller ID. I ran straight to my room, sat on my bed, and answered the phone. When I heard the voice at the other end, my stomach sunk, and my heart began beating faster. It was his mother, and she called to let me know that Jake was in the hospital. I figured he had gotten hurt somehow and would be fine, but as she continued on, she told me that he and her had gotten in a fight, and she told him he was not allowed to see me on Valentine's Day. After that, he took a bottle of pills and attempted suicide. She told me that he had his stomach pumped and would be okay, but was going to be gone for a while, and she wasn't sure when he would be able to talk to me. At this point, I was feeling physically ill, and I had no idea how to react. I had so many thoughts going through my head. I thought it was my fault. I wanted to help. I didn't know how this could have happened. Why couldn't I fix it? I knew at that moment that I didn't want anyone in this world to go through what he was going through, what I was going through. I've always been a fixer, but it wasn't until I had that experience that I realized I need to help people. This is my calling. This specific incident and all of the things that I went through with him over the years led me to where I am today. I strayed off the path of my goody two-shoes reputation, but I believe it was all for good reason. I went through high school knowing that I wanted to go to college. I knew that I wanted to help people. I graduated with a degree in psychology, and I will have a master's degree in counseling in May. If it wasn't for February 13th, 2005, I'm not sure if I would have been so determined to take this path right away. To this day, I still think about Jake and his family. I recently saw that he had a son, and I can't help but feel love for him despite all the tragedy our relationship went through. I know in my life I will help many people who have had a relationship with a Jake, and I hope that they can find the light through the experience just as I have.